Hey YouTube, back. Been a little while. This is my first review video. Um, so I haven't done any review videos really yet. I've done a couple of update videos on the equipment that I have, but this is going to be my actual first review of a company and of their product. I take this very seriously only because me and my wife's job are based on reputation. Uh, so your reputation is never for sale. Um, every place you work, you can do what you can, but at the end of the day, you're only who you are and what other people think of you. So, the reputation is key to me, and the reputation is built on a couple of different things. So that's why I'm doing this review on seaflo. I've had an experience with their product, and I've had experience with their customer service. And first of all, let me say that the reason I am doing this review is because I am extremely happy with the company's customer service. You know, nobody's perfect. As human beings, we're prone to making mistakes and having accidents. Machines, most of them are built by human beings, so again, they're prone to making mistakes and having accidents. It's how you deal with your accidents or your mistakes that sets you apart and sets your reputation. When we got our seaflo pump, we got the 17 liter a minute, I believe it is, 40 to 45 psi. seaflo, I'll give you the codes later, the actual code and serial number of the piece of equipment later on in this video. But within a couple of days of buying this item off of Amazon, the pressure switch blew. It just stopped working. And my first experience with them, as you heard on one of my past videos, it could have been the last video that I did, was that I was able to get in touch with seaflo right away, and I didn't have to call an automated machine. There was no selections of buttons that I had to go through to get annoyed with, which, companies out there, I really hate to say this, but people hate that. Sure, it gets us to where we want to go sooner, but I would bet 95% of the time that you're going to send us to the same person after we push any random button anyway. So, to actually hear a person's voice on the other end of the phone right away was excellent. And I think it was Mike and John, possibly, were the two people that I talked to from seaflo. And immediately, the guy basically covered the Amazon seller, and he's like, listen, okay, this is how you get your pump started right away. And he told me how to bypass the pressure switch. He walked me through it step by step. Thank God I'm not a complete idiot. Well, I guess around here, still, you got to prove me wrong on that one. But he told me how to get by it so that me and my wife were able to use water. And that's why I had to put the water system on a switch, because the pressure switch had blown. I waited about a week and a half after talking to that gentleman at seaflo, who took very good care of me very quickly. And basically at the end of the call he said, if you don't hear back from the Amazon seller, please get a hold of us. We'll take care of any issues. Pump's got a 2-year or 4-year warranty. I can't remember. I believe it's a 2-year warranty. But after their customer service and after the experience that I had talking to who I believe was Mike, I was extremely happy. Really, I was back up and running. I had my water system up again. I knew that if I had any other problems, that I was able to contact him and he would take care of me. And just that knowing, just that idea altogether really sold me on seaflo. I bought the pump because it was a cheap alternative to what I needed. It's definitely priced more in my price range. And there weren't many other pumps that that had such a big name, that I believed was such a big name when I was looking through the eBays and the Amazons and the onlines and trying to do research. It was one of the biggest names that I could find at my price point, so I bought it. I just grabbed it. And the pump has a great pressure system, 17 liters a minute, 45 psi. We have absolutely no issues with the shower, the tub, the laundry, the washing machine, nothing like that. It's actually the perfect pump for, and I sized the pump when I bought it for the hot water tank that we had already purchased. And it works beautifully. I mean, it feeds the hot water tank the exact amount of water that we need. We get the really great, hot, beautiful baths in the house. So the pump is perfect, other than the pressure switch that blew. And finally, since I was unable to contact the Amazon dealer, when I was able to finally get a hold, I wasn't able to get a hold of the Amazon dealer at any point, so I called seaflo back. And that's when I spoke with them again, and I told them the situation. Couldn't get a hold of Amazon to fix the pressure switch, and thanks to their patience and guidance, I was able to get the switch, or the pump onto a switch. So that was working out well for me too. Still is, actually, thank God. But seaflo, being the company that they are, I didn't purchase it from them, but they basically, just over the phone, without really even having any receipts or anything, said, yeah, we'll take care of the situation, and they sent me 2 pressure switches. I'm gonna get the pressure switch involved or installed. I'll bring you along for that. I mean, it looks very simple, but I'll pull the pump from the system and I'll bring it inside, and we'll go through that together. And yeah, like so far, 150% impressed with customer service of seaflo. I don't really know how to put this other than, seaflo was kind of like a man about it. They were like, yeah, we put this on the shelf. You have a problem, we'll fix your problem. We'll send you a backup in case you have the same problem again. And to me, that's really backing up your product, and that's what a good product is. A good product has somebody who stands behind it. So that's the first part of the review. We'll get to the install and we'll turn it back on, and I would almost guarantee it works. And if it doesn't, then I know people make mistakes, machines make mistakes, parts break. But at least I know that the people behind the product are there. They're good people, and they're going to be willing to help me. So like I said, so far in the video, 150% behind seaflo. Their product is working for my needs. With the pressure switch, it'll be a little bit better. Obviously, we won't have to walk into the living room and press the switch all the time that we want water. But yeah, as a company and for their customer service and customer satisfaction, 150%. Super happy with that. And to me, that's the most important thing. So. Okay guys, so it's time to wire the pump. This is my pump. If you can't see it, it says model SFDP20454040-41. It is an open flow 17 liter per minute, 4.5 gallon per minute, 24 volt, 3 amp, max amp 6 amps, press setting 40 psi pump, seaflo. So, long cable came out of the top. That will go to the fuse off of the 24 volt system. Short cable came out of the bottom. That'll tie in to the power directly to the pump. Now, since I had to take off I'd bypassed the pressure switch, I went straight to the fuse, straight to the ground. Then after my wife got sick of doing the fuse, I went straight to a switch, just a button switch, and then ground always stayed remaining contact. So today I'm going to be removing the top plate pressure valve, and I'll be replacing it with one of the ones the guys from seaflo sent to me. Now, the pressure screw on this one's flush, and the pressure screw on this one's not flush, so pressure screw on this one as well is not flush. And these are a small hex. So I'm going to go get that tool and then we'll get started. But I'm trying to show you how simple this kind of stuff can be for somebody who really, I just have experience ever since I was a kid, changing fans and doing some small wiring around the house. And then, so, I have a basic knowledge, but I'm sure I shogun a few things. So we'll see what happens. The reason I brought this plate with me is just in case when I take off the diaphragm, water is released. I don't want it to get over the kitchen table. My wife is super cool and lets me do this kind of stuff in the kitchen. Blowtorch and all that fun stuff. So hopefully there's not too many guys getting jealous out there. I'm sure your wives are pretty cool too. But I'm gonna get started and I'll keep you informed on what's going on. Okay, so 2 Phillips screws hold it on. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to back off the pressure hex thread, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take these screws a little bit at a time. I would imagine diaphragms are pretty sensitive. If you completely unthread one of the screws, you have a chance of releasing the pressure on one side and possibly damaging whatever underneath. So usually it's a good idea to do a little bit on both sides as you go. Same with tightening. Okay. That was a heck of a lot more easy than I expected. Screws came out. I'm going to reuse the screws, but it seems as though everything is secure and in place. From what I get from the old pressure switch, is that the pin being all the way down is holding. I would imagine this is some form of primer for the diaphragm pump. It's giving it its area, its range of motion. So I am going to do a little bit of research because I've never adjusted this. Came like this from seller. I'm not sure if it came like this from manufacturer. It was a new pump when I bought it, but you never know who touches what. So I'm going to take a look online really quick to see if that's supposed to be in the full down position, just to double check, and then I will, it's extremely simple, I will just put the new one on in the same orientation that I took this one off of. Extremely easy. You could probably, if you can't figure this out, you might want to ask your 5-year-old, because kids these days are way better than us at a bunch of stuff. And they're willing to fail. It's one of the biggest things about learning, is you have to be willing to fail. Anyway, seaflo made a pretty brain dead system here. This seems extremely difficult to put yourself in any form of issue with this thing. I have had nothing but simplicity so far. Hey, I'm making a video. You really gotta drink stuff right now? You a loud drinker? Alright, so now I'm tightening the pressure switch valve screw, I'm gonna call it. And you know, I'm sure if I wanted to, seaflo would have absolutely sent thorough instructions with me, just because of how I've dealt with their company so far. And even though it's been, you know, only 1 or 2 phone calls, but they've really blown me out of the water with their customer service, then I would imagine that they'd be more than happy to either walk me through this over the phone or send me a technical diagram. But you don't need either. Replacing the pressure switch on one of these was amazingly easy. If you were lucky enough not to have to cut the original wiring, it would just literally be a matter of plugging the pump power cable into the bottom switch here, and then the top switch would go to your fuse or your toggle switch before it went to your source of power. Alright, so I need, since I had to run this without the pressure switch and I needed water, and seaflo was able to get me back on the road by telling me how to reroute this thing, I do need to repair the wiring. So I'm going to go through that quickly off camera. You know, I got the flex and solder and the torch and all of that, but well, you guys have all seen me weld before, so you don't need to be disappointed again. Or, I guess, you know, solder, not weld. Okay, this is difficult to set up, so I'm just going to do it this way. So the seaflo pump, it's got quick connectors on the side. It's just a matter of trying to show you with the camera and the light. So if I were to push down on this, plumbing slides out. So it's very quick and easy to plumb and to do work on. It's not an issue at all. I have to tie that up. Same with the water in. I have to continually watch the water in a little bit, because if it gets a little bit too vibrations, that'll actually loosen and this will pop out. Nothing ever happens because this is the draw. This is where the draw is, flows this way. Need more filters, blah blah blah. But yeah, I haven't soldered the 2 connections yet, but I got the pump up and running. I'm gonna put the fuse in a second. Once it dries off a little bit, I have a runoff, water runoff here. It's the lowest point of one of the lowest points of my system, other than this. So that if I need to, I can just throw the water out. It was over a little bit, so I got my cement pad a little bit wet, but no big deal. Batteries are doing well. Midnight Solar is doing well. That's doing well. As soon as this back and up and running, the way we need it to be, should be great. But yeah, review and install, I guess. So yeah, I'll put this back in and show you if it works. Okay, so did it shut off? It works.